today's video, I would like to talk to you about various topics. The first topic will be on this book. Many of you have heard of this book. It's Twilight. And I'm going to talk to you about Twilight, After, and another novel that's inspired by Twilight, which is very popular, is E.L. James' 50 Shades of Grey. Okay, so Twilight is one of those books. I remember the first time I saw this book. It was in summer of the year before it became really well known. So this summer, I was in the library, I had nothing to do. And I went and I saw this book with a man with his hands, and it had an apple in it. And the back of the book, it said something about how temptation. It was referring to the book of the Garden of Eden. Something about the hands offering the something about the hands with the apple, and it was offering the young girl like the apple as a form of temptation. That's what the tagline was on the back. I thought, wow, what an interesting book. What a very interesting take on the Garden of Eden. When I read the inside flap, I learned it was quickly about something to do with vampires. So I was like, oh, how interesting. Okay, so long story short, I went home, I took the book. This was in the summer of 2005 or 2006. The year before it just blew up. So I took the book home, and then what ended up happening is that I took the book and I couldn't put it down. This book was so interesting. It was so easy to read. And I'm going to tell you why that's so important to me. Up until that point, I used to love to read, right? But then what ended up happening is that I would start reading a lot of novels that had to do with academic books, like stuff on Margaret Goat, that book with Mephistopheles. I would read things like Raising in the Sun, all those scholastic books, and it wiped out any feeling to read anything interesting at all. And when I picked up this book, I don't know what caused me to pick it up. I just thought it was so interesting how the hands had the apple, and the tagline on the back was referring to the Garden of Eden temptation. And when I read the inside tagline, it was about a vampire. So now I was like, okay, let me give this a chance. And when I did, what ended up happening is that I actually started to really, that's one of the best books I've read in a long time. Okay, so if you haven't read Twilight, Twilight is about this young girl, Bella Swan, this high schooler, who goes to a town in Seattle. She was with her mom, and so she goes off to live with her dad, who's in this small town in Seattle, Washington. Okay, and then when she goes to Seattle, Washington, she encounters this vampire. His name is Edward Cullen, and they begin a romance. But the thing that I love about the book is everything leading up to the romance. It's like Pride and Prejudice, because they're both antagonistic toward each other. Well, at least Edward is antagonistic towards Bella. And Bella's wondering, okay, why is Edward so angry at me? She doesn't understand why it seems like this really hot guy just actually he seems like he wants to murder her. But then later on she finds out he's a vampire, and it all makes sense. Okay, so the next book I'm going to mention that is off of Twilight is this book called After. It's by Anna Todd. After is a book, it was inspired by Twilight. Anna Todd used to do fan fiction on Wattpad, I think. And she was inspired by Twilight, so she did a book that is almost based off of Twilight, but it has a lot of other elements in it. And her book became very, very popular. It's actually a movie on Netflix. It has a series of books that has been published, and it just took off. And then there's another little author called 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that title, 50 Shades of Grey, which went on to outsell the Bible. It was that prolific. It was that like popular, and it just outsold it. And although E.L. James' 50 Shades of Grey is not my favorite book, I really love Twilight and After More. But I can appreciate that she really tried to take a new spin on it, which is very interesting. I really like that she was very creative. That's one thing I could say. Okay, so another thing I want to add for today's video is this year we'll make it the 10th year that I graduated from my alma mater. And what's so special about this year is also going to make it the 15th year that I graduated from high school, which is it's very cool that I graduated from college winter 2011, and then 2006 will make it 15 years since I went to my high school. So I went to my alma mater is Hunter College, and it was a very interesting experience. Like it was a very interesting experience. Like I learned a lot from that school, and it was a very let's just say I learned a lot. Okay, the fast track, the reason I actually went to the school, my original major was to do nursing, but it didn't end up not working, so I did a major in artwork or fine arts, and that's what I actually graduated with. And to actually go back, what ended up happening is that I really didn't apply myself. Once I went there, I didn't even know anything about nursing. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't research it. I didn't research the school. I just went there on a limb, which is a very bad thing to do. But despite that being a very bad thing to do, I graduated there a semester late. I was supposed to graduate in May 2010. I graduated in winter 2011. And to this day, I can say that's the degree that I say, even though it's like it was an art degree, I look on that degree with pride, because it was very difficult to obtain, because I was very lax during those years. I didn't take the studies very seriously. And so because of me starting off and not taking it so seriously, I didn't even know why I was there. I didn't read the college catalog. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't apply myself. I didn't get into the culture of the college. So then the ending years where I wanted to graduate faster, it was harder for me because I didn't apply myself as I should have. So then for all its worth, it's actually, I could say it had many lessons I learned, and it caused me to learn a lot about, when you go somewhere, you have to prepare and know what you're going there for. So then it prepared me a lot for my experiences for today. So that experience, even though it had many of its setbacks, it taught me a lot, and I could say it was a good experience because of that. And one of the things I loved about it is that the teachers, the professors, they were very interactive. Like some of the professors, some of the best, especially the ones that were in the art department, which was my major. There was some that was in the English, mathematics, very good professors that really care about what their students. They're really interactive, and you could tell it by how much they teach, how much they put in, the work that they put into. Some of the things that I did not like about the school was the commute, and that because the train was right under the school, like what would happen is that if there was a snow day, we would not get that snow day off. We'd have to go to school because the train is right under the school. So while all of New York City would get off, we would not, and that would piss me the hell off. And what else? Another thing is that it was a commuter school, which means, as I said before, it's like the train would be coming in and out. People would keep coming in and out. It was very fast paced. Sometimes I would be good. Sometimes it would be like you just be switching up every semester, and I didn't like that. And then one thing I did love that I did is that I I did ballet one semester. One semester I did acting and dancing. Even though I didn't apply myself when it came to the nursing major, which I really hated, I did apply myself in that. I did film one semester because you had to take a bunch of GRE requirements to the um, fulfill the major. You have to do a general requirements. So I did do a lot of things that I was very interested in, and it got me to open me up to see, okay, I don't like nursing, so what else do I like? And it opened me up to a lot of things I did not know before, and I met a lot of cool people there, great professors, and I have to say that's one of my proudest degrees ever. If I ever make other degrees, like maybe get my doctorate or my master's, it'll still be one of the most proudest degrees I ever had because of all I did in order so that I could graduate as quickly as I could, and all that I did because I was like, I was 21, I was really young, and I was just facing, and I had to learn a lot about like just graduating off of high school and having everything handed to me, or how to be more independent, and it taught me a lot. So due to that, it's like it's like one of those degrees I'm extremely proud to have obtained. Okay, so then one thing I really wanted to get into is self-esteem. I'm really into that topic, self-esteem and self-love and all that stuff. This was one of the topics I really love to talk about. So for today's video, I really want to get into, I know it's a better thing to be humble, but I really wanted to say that it's great to be humble sometimes, but it's also great to say, I did a great job, I did something good today, I did something that inspired other people. And it's also great to pat yourself on the back and to think that you're a great person. I think one of the most things that's not good about this culture is that we're taught that we can't celebrate ourselves. And to celebrate ourselves and to celebrate who we are is selfish, and I think that's selfish in itself. I think we should be, and how do I want to try to change that, is that I will start with myself. I will start with, yes, you can be humble. Yes, you can be more, you must be more humble, but then if you do something great, you should be able to admit that. And if somebody compliments, you should be able to accept that. It's all right to think that you're great sometimes. And I think some of the things that is wrong with the way things are, especially in American society, is that everything is about, don't think you're great, just false humility, which I don't ascribe to at all. And then finally, to wrap up the video, I will be later on, my later upcoming videos, talking to you guys about presence and how to be more present in your day, because I'm reading this book by Yogi Cameron. He's a great, he had this TV show, and Yogi Cameron, he's talking about presence. He's talking about presence, how to be more present in your body. Because one thing I realize is that although I'd like to be more present, I'm more on autopilot. I'm more like thinking about the past, like most people, or I'm thinking about how am I going to get into the rat race, the future. And I really want to basically be more present and be more focused, and whatever I'm doing to enjoy it more. So then that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Kristani.